Guess what? We're no longer in the Endgame anymore. It feels like we've been waiting for years for this moment because, well, it's actually been years. The Binger is here to help you cope with the end and prepare for new beginnings. Get ready because it is time to talk about new information regarding Phase 4. The end of Phase 3. Are we even emotionally prepared for Spider-Man Far From Home? I mean, seriously, this movie is going to stun our senses. Audiences are going to have to watch a grieving Peter Parker overcome the loss of his idol. However, there is more in a story than just the plot. Marvel announced that Far From Home is considered the end of Phase 3. So pack your bags and wear layers because the journey from here is gonna get wacky. The truth is, everything from here is speculation. All anyone knows is what films are confirmed and some production rumors. The Binger is here to help you learn all of these rumors and leaks, but understand that none of this is set in stone. Remember, when the MCU first set its timeline, there was no Spider-Man. Black Panther was an unforeseen mystery and Infinity War was a two-part movie. Even things that get confirmed are subject to change. Still, we know where Phase 3 is ending, so get ready. Everything we learn from this upcoming feature will provide us with clues to the next phase. GALACTUS, the new THANOS. Starting off, here is a big variable tied up in Rumorville. All of the leaks and new information we've been provided aren't pointing towards GALACTUS necessarily. However, inference and a keen eye can help illuminate this possibility. First, consider the fact that Disney worked hard to acquire certain properties from Fox. The overhead looking down at Marvel isn't gonna be happy if the creative teams don't use the characters that they spent good money to acquire. Now that most of the characters are home and ready for duty, it makes sense that fans are gonna see this villain grace their screen. On top of that, The Eternals is set to begin production in Atlanta during the summer of 2019. For those not familiar with the rumors surrounding the film, reports are indicating that the story is set at the dawn of the universe, hence why they're filming in Atlanta. Pinewood Studios is home to all of their green screen work lately. Plus, starting at the beginning of the universe lends itself to a perfect opportunity to establish both the Eternals and Galactus. It seems the stars are aligning. Dr. Doom solo film. The name is Doom. Victor Von Doom. Okay, so that sounded better in my head, I'll be honest. But you should still get hyped at the mention of this iconic character's name. The fan base is swirling with theories and rumors about Doom making his debut in the Marvel Universe. Don't trust us? Well, consider this little nugget of information. News releases at Fox Studios showed them planning for a solo Dr. Doom film. We don't know how far it went into pre-production. However, we do know that the script and storyboarding came over on the move to Disney and Marvel, meaning the idea is still being workshopped over at Mickey Mouse headquarters. What's more, a character like Dr. Doom offers the chance for Marvel to change the formula up a bit more. Instead of only releasing hero films, the characters can try their hand at a villainous origin film. Most of Earth's mightiest villains have fallen prey to poor writing and limited screen time. A solo film for Doom gives Marvel the chance to try a new approach to making their antagonists feel threatening and understood. X-Men, the unlikely debut. With new information and new clues, some things fall by the wayside. The sad fact of this video is some things aren't going to happen like we want them to. As the Rolling Stones say, you can't always get what you want. Hopefully, we at least get what we need. So, one of those things we want but don't need is a MCU version of the X-Men. The group was one of the first successful on-screen teams to make an appearance in the early 2000s. Since then, their films play out like a sickening roller coaster. The amount of ups and downs fans have been through with the X-Men movies is enough to make even the strongest stomach hurl. Okay, it was a really gross metaphor, I admit, but you know what? You get the point. The MCU knows that we are currently oversaturated with X-Men films. There are no reports surfacing of any of their projects crossing over into the new ownership. For the time being, it seems that the mutants aren't going to come out of hiding anytime soon. There is always hope though, and know that we don't need time travel to introduce these characters. The observant watchers of Ant-Man and the Wasp noticed a line from Lewis that may have hinted at the X-Men's existence. During a conversation about Ghost, Lewis says he's heard rumors about a cat that can walk through walls. It's possible that the screenwriters were making an offhanded reference to Kitty Pryde already existing in the Marvel Universe. Fantastic Four: Path to Redemption. Unlike the X-Men, Marvel can easily explain away why the Fantastic Four didn't exist during the Battle of New York. The simple explanation is they didn't exist yet. The team originates from some sort of cosmic accident. The possibilities there are endless. On top of that, Marvel probably wants a new group of superheroes to replace the Avengers, so why not the Fantastic Four? Rumors are bubbling up surrounding the Avengers 5 title leak and a possible lineup plan. Don't worry, we'll get more into that in a later entry, but we want to attach it to the Fantastic Four right now. See, no one knows why the MCU would plan for another Avengers film. The arc is all wrapped up. Perhaps the title is older and the studio is now planning a new team-up movie. Alternatively, many are convinced that the leak is a red herring and that some other team is going to fill that slot. Enter the Fantastic Four. The team can come together to explore the galaxy or the quantum realm. Both are now open secrets thanks to the snapping and its reversal. It seems logical that Reed Richards and his team would attempt to find their own way into understanding these phenomenons. In consequence, the traditional origin events happen and boom, you've got the Fantastic Four in the MCU as the new Avengers stand-in. Hey, we admit, it's unlikely, but we're holding out the possibility anyways. The Newbies. Okay, it's time to get into more concrete leaks and news from the MCU. We want to go over all the new faces we're quite positive will make an appearance in the next phase. Some of them are more obvious, like the aforementioned Eternals, who are getting a titular film to showcase their abilities. That team will also be joined by Shang-Chi, who's getting his own standalone movie as well. They're the obvious ones to mention, but let's talk some more about some solidified rumors. First off is Adam Warlock and the High Evolutionary. Adam was hinted at in the end credits of the second Guardians film. If he doesn't appear, gotta tell ya, we riot. Of course, we're only kidding, and we never riot if that same film gives us a sneak peek at the High Evolutionary. Twitter user and infamous leaker Roger Wardell posted a rumor that the character is appearing with Lila. It looks like it's time for Rocket to meet his maker. We also know from a video posted by the Cosmic Wonder that Wardell mentioned some characters debuting in the new Doctor Strange movie. It's likely we'll be introduced to Jericho Drumm and Clea. We've already seen one Drumm guarding the New York Sanctuary prior to Strange's arrival, and we know how that ended. As for Clea, her relations to Dormammu make her an easy introduction for fans to grasp. Not to mention, her positioning in the comics make her a new potential love interest for Strange and a potential member of the A-Force if the film ever becomes a reality. The usual suspects. Okay, so that was some of the new faces that we've basically confirmed will appear. Now let's talk about some of the usual suspects set to come back. As we've mentioned, it seems like Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy are set to begin their third adventure together that'll highlight the new group dynamic. Back on Earth, it's rumored that Doctor Strange will be introducing viewers to new realms as he battles a strange nightmarish foe. Finally, Black Panther seems to be set to defend his new public home of Wakanda. Endgame appeared to hint at a possible clash with Namor being in the works for T'Challa and his comrades. Of course, there's also the television show characters set to routinely entertain you on the small screen. Characters like Loki, Bucky, and Falcon will stay relegated to those roles for most of Phase 4. However, there is a tricky notion for a Black Widow movie. Most fans aren't sure how the writers will work her story into the larger narrative now that she's gone. But we're simply hoping for the best. Finally, there are a few more confirmed names that will more than likely make some kind of appearance. Tilda Swinton is contracted for another film and is likely to show up in Doctor Strange 2. Captain Marvel's sequel will likely include a cameo from Nick Fury or a number of Earth heroes. The lost characters. Cue the sad trombone because here comes the bad news. With a new phase comes the reality that some heroes are gone for now. Everyone can't show up in every film. Remember that Hawkeye and Ant-Man got left out of Infinity War, and even Thor left the main conflict for a while. Judging by context clues from Endgame, we're willing to bet that we won't see the Hulk often in this new phase. His arm is basically limp now, and his big 3 movie arc is finally wrapped up. The same goes for Clint Barton, because he's finally going to be able to retire and hang up his bow now that his family is back on planet Earth. Sadly, we don't believe Iron Man will be making any appearances yet. Gwyneth Paltrow remarked in an interview that her and Robert Downey Jr. might appear in flashbacks and quick cameos in films depending upon what the story needs. It sounds a little uncertain, but we'll at least get some kind of closure in Far From Home, since Downey is part of the cast list. We aren't sure if Vision will come back to life and what's next for Captain America either. For now, we think it's safe to say goodbye to many of the original Avengers in Phase 4. The potential lineup. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to get into the potential lineup. Many fans are trying to crack the code, and a lot of people are buying into this leaked release, working its way around the internet. However, we're not trusting this gift from the Marvel gods. Instead, we like the lineup that the YouTuber Everything Always has put together on his channel. For starters, many people believe that the next phase will be officially announced at San Diego Comic-Con, since Kevin Feige even told us that he is more than willing to release the lineup, but only after Spider-Man Far From Home has come out. However, there is a leaked phase lineup we keep referencing, so let's go over that really quick. It starts in May of 2020 with a Black Widow solo film. Then in the fall of that year is slated a Doctor Strange film. After that, in 2021 is a winter release for the Eternals, a summer release for the Black Panther film, and wrapping up the 2021 calendar is a fall debut for Shang-Chi. The final year of movies includes a similar 3-part release. For the winter release, it appears we're set to get the third Guardians of the Galaxy, followed by Captain Marvel 2 in May, and finally what's being called Avengers 5 in July. Now, keep in mind that organizations leak things all of the time as trial balloons. This lineup might be testing the internet's reaction to a potential Avengers sequel and opening the phase with a Black Widow film. We actually buy more into Everything Always' opinion. He believes that the Eternals will actually kick off the new phase. The idea matches up with where theorists believe Spider-Man Far From Home is going to leave the universe. Now, to be honest, Black Widow may also work in that slot because its post-production schedule won't likely involve as much CGI work as the Eternals will need. The Eternals is set to start production sooner though, and that may be the head start that it needs to kick off the next phase ahead of Black Widow. The final point in the leak that we doubt is the Avengers sequel. It'll be 3 years since Endgame. By then, it's more than possible that the prior films set up an entirely new team. However, we doubt that the MCU team wants to retread their old heroes. We're more willing to bet that it's some other team uniting for that film. Keep it on the down low, but there's actually a rumor circulating that it's actually a Thunderbolts film. We believe the last slot is the most flexible, so don't trust the Avengers moniker attached to that spot just yet. It's just Marvel feeling out how fans feel about that possibility right now. At least that's what we believe. Do you have a different idea about what the last slot could be? Let us know in the comments section down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow The Binger for all of the latest countdowns and news.